of equity in his home. So he put the pieces together, cleared the challenges, and got his reverse mortgage funded before his foreclosure deadline. Now he's living comfortably, enjoying his golden years.
It was one of the most heartfelt experiences of our career. To find out if a reverse mortgage is right for you, give us a call. There's no obligation, just information. We're here to help make your life better. Call Sierra Pacific Mortgage at 888-888-1172. That's 888-888-1172. Or visit us online at andrewandtodd.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks drifting to a mixed close after last week's roller coaster ride left them shy of their records. Treasury yields moved higher. The focus on Wall Street has been on interest rates and when the Federal Reserve will lower them. Hot reports on inflation and the economy have forced traders to delay forecasts for when the relief on rates could arrive. That raises the pressure on companies to deliver strong profits to justify higher stock prices. The Dow was down 11 points today to 38,892. The Nasdaq gained 5 to 16,253. The S&P 500 dropped 2 points to 5202. New York oil fell 48 cents to $86.43 per barrel. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith P.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clouds rolling in overnight. Our low dips to 55. Tomorrow, there's a 20% chance we get some stray showers. The high is 77. Same for Wednesday, while on Thursday, our rain chances climb dramatically to 80%. You could look for some thunderstorms. Things will clear out Friday, and we have a nice weekend planned for you. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Ooh, I like when you press that one.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Sports Talk Media Network. Boy, what a day. Only way to top a day like today is to tune into Sports Talk because we had national championship celebration for the USC women's basketball team. Congratulations to them. A third natty and a perfect season. My God, how cool is that? Like the Clemson football team went 15-0. USC women's basketball team goes 37-0. It's fantastic. 38-0. It's fantastic. Congratulations to all involved with that. And then we had, I guess we had an eclipse. I mean, I went outside. I was following directions, and it said 310 in Columbia. It was supposed to be at the max, and I didn't see a darn thing. I didn't look up at it. I didn't have glasses. So I did a selfie thing with my phone, where you had
smart.
Yeah. But I still didn't see anything, and it never got dark. So maybe in my neighborhood, it just wasn't in line with the sun and the moon and the stars. But I hope you enjoyed the eclipse. If you happen to, did it go dark in Florence?
I was in the doctor's office at the time of the eclipse, so I'm not sure. I heard it got a little bit darker, but in South Carolina, we only got 75-80%. It wasn't a full eclipse like we had back in 2017. And evidently the strength of the sun, even at 20%, can maintain the light that you normally see. It did get a little bit darker from what I understand. I did get to thinking about this, though. 2017, the last time we had a solar eclipse of this magnitude, came right over the state of South Carolina. The Gamecocks went to the Final Four. Mm-hmm. 2024, we get another solar eclipse, comes, at least near South Carolina, doesn't go directly over the state. Clemson goes to the Elite Eight. Mm-hmm. So we need to figure out when the next solar eclipse is and throw all our chips in on one of the two teams because evidently they play better when the sun is eclipsed by the moon.
Now, correct me on my years and all. You probably know this better than I do. 2017, the USC men and women were in the Final Four.
That is correct.
And didn't the women win?
They did.
So they've won 2 national championships when we've had
During
eclipses,
eclipse, yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's
yeah,
correct.
Yeah. Well, the only eclipse I've ever had is a total eclipse of the heart. How about you?
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah. Good song. Good song. Thought about playing it here to start the show, but it'd be too corny to do that. So we got a lot to talk about, and we're going to get to your phone calls. We'll play for you the celebration today over at USC at the CLA's about a little over 9 minutes. Bring that to you. Didn't have a chance to hear it. They'll have a parade on Sunday, 2 o'clock in Columbia, I guess down Main Street, down the canyon of USC women champions and baseball champions. That's 3 women's natties, 2 baseball natties, a women's track natty. And if you want to count, the club hockey team won a natty.
And the equestrian team has
won a natty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does that cover it all? Does that cover all the natties?
I think that's everybody over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we want to give you as much time as we can give you amongst everything else, because there was Clemson football. Dabo Sweeney, we'll hear from him. Clemson spring game, just quick synopsis from my vantage point. Defense is going to be really good once again. Offense, even though they were missing a lot of people, and you could say they were missing a lot of people, so how you can draw any conclusion, and you really can. I think the offense is still a question mark. Defense looked very good. I think their kicking game, Swanson's back. He's fine. And Hoosier, probably going to be your place kicker. He's got a leg. They're probably going to be good in that place. Offense, I think, is still a big question mark, to be honest with you. I didn't see anything from the offense. I know it was a spring game.
Except for Trent Pearman. He's obviously the starter now coming out of spring, right?
Yeah.
He was sensational.
Yeah. If he's the starter, then I'm the 5th Beatle, okay? Not
He
taking
played
anything
really
away
well,
from
though.
him, but we
Yeah,
have people
exactly.
every spring game that do great and you never hear from them again, okay? So
Sure.
listen, I'm just trying to be real with you. If Trent Pearman's going to be your starting quarterback at Clemson, then that's going to be probably a little bit of a drop down for you there. I think they expect more from Klubnik and Vizina, to be quite honest with you. They announced 47,000. Yeah. Okay, I'll be liberal here and say maybe 30,000. I'm thinking more in lines of between 20 and 25,000. It was the smallest Clemson spring crowd that I'd seen in a long time. So I don't know where they came up with 47,000, but they did. Whoever did that estimate, they must have had double vision, because they were counting people, the same person 2 or 3 times. So we'll hear from Dabo Sweeney. Baseball, another great weekend for Clemson, still ranked number 2. And South Carolina salvaged a win over A&M yesterday, hanging on to win. They've dropped out of all the polls except for one. They'll play a ranked North Carolina team tomorrow, and they're going to start SQ in that game tomorrow night in Charlotte. So Clemson's going gangbusters. They look terrific. Had to hang on yesterday, right? Almost blew a huge lead.
They did not play very well at all defensively. Neither team did. I mean, 12, if memory serves, 12 unearned runs combined between the two teams and 8 errors between the two. And you throw that in, Phil, and then over on the side, Aiden Canucks throwing a no-hitter into the 7th inning. So, I mean, and the only run he allowed was, I think he hit 2 batters, and then they maneuvered around the base pass and scored on a sac fly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was just a weird game, but for a team that is known for coming from behind, they got their 15th comeback win on Friday against Notre Dame. They almost blew an 11-2 lead. Notre Dame scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings yesterday, and a lot of it bad fielding on both sides of the coin. Notre Dame came in to the weekend the 2nd best fielding percentage in the ACC and the fewest errors committed in the ACC. They almost matched their errors, 14 for the season, with 5 yesterday, almost half of what they had committed. It was a crazy game, really crazy game.
All right. Let's see what else to tell you. Of course, we got Masters Week going on. We'll be all over that as the week progresses. A couple of other quick notes, and our phone calls are coming up. 888-898-2525. I'm seeing here where Caitlin Clark tweeted a few minutes ago, 18.7 million with the fire emoji. Is that
That's
what's
the
being reported
ratings.
as a television audience? 18.7 million. Wow, that's a
Impressive.
huge number. That is a huge number.
It's the biggest, most watched women's basketball game in history.
Yeah.
What do you think the men will get tonight when you've got two exceptionally good teams? No really star power with the exception of Zach Edey. And the game tips off at nearly 9:30 on the East Coast on a cable network, not on a regular network.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that matters. Everybody's got TNT and True and TBS. And, of course, the women could say, put our game in prime time. Imagine they played at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday.
It was a great setup for them.
They were up against Martinsville. And
that really hurt the ratings.
Yeah. They were up against Martinsville and Major League Baseball and golf and the NBA. That's a huge number, almost 19 million. That's fantastic. I imagine the men tonight would certainly pull. I don't know how they've been trending audience-wise. I would imagine they would certainly pull 15 to 20 million.
I would hope so. I think it's going to be an exceptional game. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into other notes. Tiger Woods, he looks good. I haven't seen any video, but I saw pictures of him as he was playing Sunday afternoon in Augusta. He looks healthy. He looks in shape.
Here we go.
What?
Tiger's going to win the Masters.
Well,
let's go ahead and start it.
I'm just telling you, unless he steps in a rabbit hole and sprains an ankle, he looks
Which
pretty
with him
good.
is entirely possible.
Entirely possible. And, of course, the other big news last night, Calipari going from Kentucky to Arkansas, base salary a little less than $8.5 million he was making at Kentucky, incentive laden with the ability to pass that number. Here's a guy, last 5 years, I would say, maybe longer, but at least the last 5 years has done less with more than anybody in college basketball, but he's still a guy. I read a story where somebody cited him as telling people around Kentucky he just didn't feel appreciated anymore in Lexington. Cry me a river.
Win.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he did less. He did less with more. Oh, Bob Ibach's going to join us tonight at the bottom of the hour. You want to stay tuned for that because he has got for you the opportunity to purchase basketballs celebrating the women's national championship. And part of that money goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, commemorative national championship basketball. He'll join us 6:35 to talk more about that. All right, more notes coming up. Poll question of the week. Want to get this out here. Dawn Staley just led the Gamecocks to a third national championship and the 10th perfect season in the history of D1 women's basketball. In your opinion, what one word best describes Staley as a coach? Iconic, fearless, genius, controversial. 65.5% say iconic. 15.6 controversial. 9.8 fearless. 9.1 genius. I looked at it as iconic puts her in a class with the greats, the Dean Smiths, John Woodens. Then on the women's side, Pat Summitt and Gino and maybe I guess Mulkey. I guess you put Mulkey in. Yeah, she's in that small group. Iconic, fearless. She definitely is fearless because she does things her way. Genius in how she recruits and how she runs her team. Controversial. Obviously, she says things that catches the attention of people one way or another. What do you think?
I think fearless is the best way to describe her because of how she runs her program. She's first off unafraid to be a vocal leader for women's college basketball, say exactly what she thinks. And if you don't like it, that's your problem, not hers. But I think even more so, Phil, with the way she handles her basketball team. She is unafraid to take a player like Malaysia Fulwiley. She's not playing defense, go sit down. I've got somebody that can play defense, and you'll learn a lesson or you won't be here any longer. I've got 9 players I can run out there at any point in time, whether the game is a 2-point contest or a 30-point contest, and I am unafraid with how they're going to respond. Look at Tessa Johnson yesterday, biggest game she's ever played in her career. She was outstanding. Raven Johnson, go guard Caitlin Clark. we're going to change the momentum in this ball game. I trust you to do so. I think the way she handles her team and the way she certainly has handled that bench, which just dominated Iowa's bench yesterday, and it kept them fresh. Iowa started to run out of gas in the fourth quarter. Three of their starters yesterday played all 40 minutes. You can't do that against the Gamecocks. I think, to me, I understand iconic. She's certainly genius. She is controversial in some sectors, but I think the best term to describe her is fearless for a lot of different reasons.
All right, 888-898-2525. We got a very busy show. Going to make you a part of it right now. Gamecock Larry joins us tonight. First up this week, Gamecock Larry, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Yep.
Doing just fine.
Yep.
I got to say something about Caton Clark and Iowa. You know me, I got to say something about the opposition. Last week I had to say something about Angel Reese and old Kim. This week I got to say something about Caitlin Clark and the what do we call them?
Hawkeyes.
Yes, sir. I know. Caitlin, you waved at Raven Johnson last year when she dared her to shoot a 3-point shot. Well, she yesterday, with a few seconds to go in the first half, she hit that ball out of your hand and she scored 2 points. You didn't wave at her then, Caitlin. You good, but she ain't the best. Well, I don't know what I mean, but anyway, Caitlin, she got you back. Revenge is sweet. Revenge is sweet. Now, let me tell you something. They saw Caitlin Clark. She scored 30 points in her last game. Yes, she did. 18 in the first 10 minutes with the help of the referee. Pushed this girl down with both hands, shot a 3-point shot and made it, and they didn't call a foul on Caitlin. Okay, then she got 5 free throws, 5 out of 6, so that was 8 the referees gave her. Then, let me tell you, she got 18 in the first 10 minutes. She got 3 in the second 10 minutes. She got 9 in the next 20 minutes. She got 9, a total of 12. So you got 18 in the first 10 minutes, and you only got 12 in the last 30 minutes. Do that say anything? Did that explain to you people? Didn't your Gamecock Larry tell you, Mr. Field, last Friday, we would win this game by 12 points or more? Did I not tell you that?
I think you did.
You know, yes, I did. Told you we win it by 12 or more. That's about all I got to say. And yes, sir, Mr. Field.
Yes, sir.
Brownell's on the short list of Kentucky. He is from Kentucky. Look out, you're going to be looking for a basketball coach. Go Gamecocks. Love all y'all. Talk to you later.
Gamecock Larry has got some sources, doesn't he? Wow. And what an analytical mind.
Much smarter than that.
Analytical mind. I mean, holy cow. Broke it down by the minutes on what Caitlin Clark did or did not do. Okay, thank you, Larry. Let's go to Hank in Columbia. Next with us on Sports Talk. By the way, the next eclipse of the sun will be 2044.
Ooh.
One of our listeners has
I can't wait that long for one
that.
of our teams to get to the Final Four. So,
Hank, go right ahead. Go right ahead, sir.
You don't have to wait because, our girls get to the Final Four every year.
Yeah. Don't get greedy.
This is true.
Don't get greedy.
What is it? 4 years in a row now? And the 1 year that they missed was the year that the COVID stopped the tournament. So
that sounds about right. And that was probably that might have been one of their best teams the year that they were number 1 and couldn't go to the tournament.
Yeah. This team's pretty special. I just got back from Cleveland today, and as they were saying up there, for Staley, It'd be it's like 109-3 over the last 3 years.
Amazing.
And 2 of the losses were on last-second shots by a team.
Mm-hmm. No, they have been fantastic. There is no hiding from that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And there's no reason to think it won't continue. You're right. I mean, that team, if everybody holds who can come back, if they all come back and what she's adding to it, they'll be right there again next year. No question about it.
Yeah, she said they're on the they have everyone coming back but Cardoza, and as they were saying up there, she's adding the number 2 ranked recruiting class in the country right now. So in the right pieces. So it's just they've said that this program has basically become the standard for college basketball. They said you can name programs that were the standard and had their era. But they said right now, and they went back and talked about the COVID year and how good they looked that year, and the fact that last year's team was 4 points short of doing the same thing. And they said, she's built the program.
Now, how was the Final
to.
Four? How was it? How did Cleveland handle it? How did you think it was run up there?
Oh, they do a great job. Cleveland was a lot better city than I. I'd heard, it wasn't going to be that great of a city, and got down there, and it was really great. They had lots of security. They were really helpful at every point. They made parking available real close. All of the teams were probably within 2 to 3 blocks of the arena. So you could go and have your team send-offs and all, and kind of get over to the, you weren't having to, get back in your car to get over to the arena. You actually walk from any of the team's hotels to the arena.
Super.
So I know you probably saw some of the shots of the send-off. I know the send-off before the championship game, it probably had to been about 3,000 people there, because they were in this kind of big mall type of hotel area. It was kind of called an arcade or whatever, and so they did a real good job. Now the arena, this Cleveland Cavaliers arena, both nights was packed to the hill. Both nights were sold out, and I think they said the arena hold something like 19,006 or something. But it was great. They did a really good job, and you see, almost 19 million watched it. That's not bad.
That's not bad. Hank, thank you very much. Glad you made it back to Columbia safe and sound, and you got another championship to celebrate. All right, 888-898-2525 is our phone number. Let's go to Vern in Bishopville, and a couple lines are now open. You've been trying to get through. Lines are open once again with Vern taking up the bottom line. Go ahead, Vern. Welcome in. How are you?
How you doing? You and Chris and the new guy and stuff.
His name is Josh. His name is Josh. He goes by Josh.
Well, Josh and stuff like probably Joshua. Anyway, and stuff. I heard you compare the Don Staley group with Dabo Sweeney group. With the 15-0. I don't see the comparison.
Oh,
because I never heard Don Staley ever having any problem on the court and off the court like Clemson guys been in 15-0. I remember they had a lot of situations with drugs and stuff, but nobody never bring it to the court and get justice out of it. But maybe I would just mishearing things.
I think you're mishearing. I don't think that 15-0 team at Clemson had any off the field issues that I can recall. No, I'm serious. I don't think they had any off the field issues. That 15, that was Trevor Lawrence and that group. That was a straight up group. Now they've had some guys the last few years with some issues with traffic violations, and one had a gun in his car and all that. But that's okay up at Clemson. Those are misdemeanors, and you get a little extra stadium steps and maybe some up downs. But they don't seem to punish you for those things like that for whatever reason.
Yeah, what about the guy from Hartsville had the gun on?
Yeah,
the one near Devontae Killpart.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That Smith, he the one with told and make out what Muschamp did and stuff like that. But anyway, everything and stuff. I just want to holler at you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Aren't you happy for your Gamecocks to win another national championship?
Very, very happy for the young ladies and Don Steele and her coaching staff. Now, only thing left now and stuff that what his name is, Paris, Lamont Paris. Maybe he can do something. Because I know the football team not to do anything because of the coaching staff they have. They got the wrong head coach. So, but that is me. But anyway, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Be blessed and everything. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Vern. Dawn Staley
Bye-bye.
gets a $500,000 bonus, Chris, for winning the national championship, on top of $200,000 for winning the SEC regular season and the SEC tournaments. That's $700,000 minimum in bonuses. I think there's some others in there for winning National Coach of the Year and all that. Not to mention, of course, her salary, which is $3.1 million, I think, something like that. $3 million plus. Not bad. And I'm sure, the women, the players are cashing in as well with their NIL deals and their YouTube channels and any other way that they can make some cash very quickly.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to put that into perspective, to give you an idea of the difference of the two major basketball programs in our state. Clemson just signed on new head coach Sean Poppy. $3.375 million is his total package for 6 years. Basically breaks down to $560,000. That's the bonus that Dawn Staley got this year.
But here's my question. And we talked about this last week. I mean, everybody talks about the great popularity, and yes, people are watching on television, et cetera, et cetera. Why do all these women's programs lose money then? I mean, South Carolina's losing $5 million. They average 14,000 a game. Do they need to jack up the ticket prices? Well, I imagine part of the reason is their TV deal hasn't been great. Their TV deal is going to improve, and maybe that's going to help some of these teams get out of the red.
I would think so. I would think it certainly helps the major dominant programs like Carolina. I think they'll certainly benefit from that. I mean, what you were there today, they had 7,000 fans just show up for a celebration today.
Yeah.
There are basketball teams in Division I that would love to have that come to a game.
No, I was not there, but I saw a tweet by Lou Scoop, who estimated the crowd at about 6,000. So I was taking his word for it.
He's probably spot on.
His word's pretty good. We'll be back with more in a moment. Don't go away.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clouds rolling in overnight. Our low dips to 55. Tomorrow, there's a 20% chance we get some stray showers. The high is 77. Same for Wednesday, while on Thursday, our rain chances climb dramatically to 80%. You could look for some thunderstorms. Things will clear out Friday, and we have a nice weekend planned for you. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting a New York appeals court judge has rejected former President Donald Trump's request to delay his April 15th hush money criminal trial while he fights to move the case out of Manhattan. The decision came Monday, a week before jury selection was set to start. Trump's lawyers had argued at an emergency hearing that the historic trial should be postponed while they seek a change of venue to move it out of Democratic Manhattan. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics has announced a policy that all but bans transgender athletes from women's sports. The NAIA is the governing body for mostly small colleges covering about 83,000 athletes across the country. The NAIA's Council of Presidents approved the policy in a 20-0 vote. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 11 points. More details at srnnews.com.
I've learned a lot in my years doing this, but I've never had my eyes opened wider than when I met the folks from Broker Solar and went to see their job sites. Everything I thought about solar power, well, I was wrong about. Now, I'm on board 100% as long as it's done right. Don't let the media, don't let the politicians guilt you about solar power. You want solar because it actually will save you money and give you some power literally and figuratively at the same time. It's amazing technology. What a great way to get rid of your monthly power bill. No more power outages. Instead of having to buy a generator, you just rely on solar batteries from Broker Solar. Listen, I'm sick of having politicians tell me about green this, green that, but solar technology has advanced so much. So if you want to learn more, why don't you call the folks over at Broker Solar? This isn't some national thing. They are local. They're located right in Lexington. In fact, I've known the owner's family for many, many years. They are great. Online, it's brokersolar.com or call them 807-7417. That's 807-7417 for Broker Solar.
Families of all backgrounds want options when it comes to their children's education. Education scholarship accounts provide the flexibility and freedom necessary for parents to tailor their child's learning experience according to their unique needs. In fact, 75% of South Carolina voters believe education scholarship accounts should be made available to all families, regardless of income level. And there's a bill sitting before the South Carolina State Senate that would do just that. And you can make the difference. Call your state senator today and urge that senator to put students first in South Carolina by expanding access to educational scholarship accounts. The time is now to support South Carolina students. For more information, visit southcarolinaschoolchoice.com. Again, that's southcarolinaschoolchoice.com. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity, South Carolina.
If you spend as much time in your outdoor living space as I do, you should make that time truly enjoyable with new patio furniture and a new grill from Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio. We offer a huge selection of high-quality, unique, brand-name patio sets, pieces, and accessories. Our top-of-the-line grills include Big Green Egg, Weber, and Traeger. It's all in stock and online at affordable prices at Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio, Forest Drive, and JackOliverPools.com.
Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 5-9 college savings plan, is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
She is the track too tough to take. The lady in black. She's got a thing for tradition, a hankering for history, and she sure likes a good challenge. Well, when Throwback Weekend comes to town, she'll get exactly what she wants and play extra hard to get.
These guys are going to have their hands full.
Shall we dance? The official Throwback Weekend of NASCAR, May 10th through the 12th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Okay, back we are. Sports Talk Media Network Championship Monday night in South Carolina with the USC women winning a third natty. Of course, you got the men's championship tonight, Purdue and UConn. More on that coming up in a little bit. But let's welcome in good friend of the program from up in Chicagoland, Bob Ibach. And with Bob's on our show, you know somebody in our state or somebody in our area has done something impressive. And this time around, it's the USC women. He's got commemorative basketballs that you can get your hands on. Let me tell you, I've had the products, I've seen the products, I've got the products, and they are first class. You want this, people. You want this. Welcome, Bob. How are you?
Hey, Phil and Chris, nice to be with you, and always enjoyed our chats in the past. And I have to tell you, we've raised over $3.3 million now for charities. And I know on this project, just maybe the last 6 years, and your audience has been a big part of that. So a shout out to everybody who's helped us out. And this time around, we're doing something with the Make-A-Wish Foundation of South Carolina. get a lot of wishes raised for kids who have life-threatening medical conditions. And what I'm about to tell your audience is something very historic because, the way that, 12 million fans watched on television on Sunday to watch South Carolina and the ladies dismantle Iowa 87-75, and they never trailed after halftime. They just ran them ragged, and with their bench and depth, just proved to be the difference, I think, for Coach Dawn Staley's team. And we've got something that's going to salute the team and their championship. First time ever they've gone undefeated in a season. It's only the 10th time a women's basketball team in college has ever pulled a remarkable undefeated season. So this basketball that I'll be talking about is going to be very historic. It's the third national title for Coach Dawn Staley in the last, I think, 5 years or so. And she's just amazing what she's done with that program. The basketballs are only going to be 5,000 of them made. They're full-size basketballs, and a portion of the proceeds, like I mentioned, will be going to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of South Carolina. Now, before I give out that phone number and website, how you can order these for $119.95, and I know they're going to go very quickly because we just kicked it off today, and the phone lines have been flooded already this afternoon. Everything you see on these basketballs is fully embossed. So the beautiful graphics, the statistics, and all the logos will stay pristine looking for years to come. It's really sharp. When I send you that website, you'll see what I mean. On the top panel of the ball, you'll have the national champions logo, the South Carolina logo is right there. Right below that, we have a layout of the entire 2023-24 regular season schedule, and also the scores during the March Madness. We have all the scores, the opponents, and dates. So it's a nice way you'll be able to look at this basketball for years to come and remember how they went on to go 38-0. We also have in the other two panels the South Carolina championship history, all embossed on that part of the panel, and another beautiful looking South Carolina logo on the last panel on the ball. So when you see this, people are going to go, wow, where did you get that basketball? They're only making it 5,000 of them to raise monies for the Make-A-Wish Foundation of South Carolina. These are $119.95 each. You'll get a numbered certificate of authenticity, and you don't want to miss out on this because it's history. Like I said before, they're only the 10th team in Division I history to complete an undefeated season, and they'll be talking about this team, and of course the increased attendance of people watching women's basketball this year. It's going to be a very historic year to remember. Here's the toll-free number that you can order these, and then I'll give out the website. Toll-free number is 1-800-345-2868. That's 1-800-345-2868. Or just go to the website, NICOsports.com. Let me spell that out. It's spelled NIKCO sports.com, NIKCO sports.com, or 1-800-345-2868. And Phil and Chris, a reminder, with Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up and graduations and birthdays, what a great gift idea for the basketball fan over there in Columbia and throughout the state. This is going to be something that will be treasured for years to come.
No question about it. Again, the products are fantastic. It's good to know that some of the money raised goes to right here in South Carolina, stays in South Carolina at Make-A-Wish. That's a great touch. And you'll be back with us tomorrow night to remind folks once again, we're going to beat this drum hard this week. So we look forward to having you back with us tomorrow night.
Well, I appreciate that. I think by the end of the week we can announce that we've sold this thing out, because I know this is something that is people have been talking about it, not only in your state but all over the country, with what Caitlin Clark did for Iowa this year. And I think Coach Staley, she took a lot of freshmen on. The whole team was graduated or left, and took on a bunch of freshmen and turned them into an unbeaten team. So that's a tough thing to do as a coach, and you did a wonderful job. And I know this is basketball will remain in the hearts of many, many fans down your way for years to come. So you want to jump on board this and own a couple, and maybe give them out as gifts during the upcoming Father's Day, Mother's Day period.
Oh, we'll put them to good use. Put them to good use. Bob, thank you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay,
Thanks,
you guys
Bob.
have a great night now.
You too. Appreciate it. Bye-bye back from up in Chicagoland. Appreciate him being with us. And, tonight.
Really
with
cool.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen them, it's up on our website right now. Also tweeted a picture of them out earlier. You can take a look at them. But the men's championship game tonight will end the bracket challenge. And so as we go into the men's championship game, we do have a competition here. And the top two in the standings both have UConn. So GoPal 81 has 1,160 points, and ESPN fan number whatever is at 1,150. So
he can't win.
I don't see how he can win. No,
he can't.
No, he can't. He
No.
cannot win. Now
He can finish second. Or
now,
she can finish second. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the next the next two have Purdue. The two who are tied for third, they're riding with Purdue tonight. Preston Higdon at 1,140 points, tied with. Now Josh was explaining this to me. Skibbity toilet, skibbity toilet. And they're at 1,140. What is skibbity toilet? Is that like a game or something?
But it's funny.
Just
no,
no,
it's just nothing.
Yeah, no.
And then after skibbity toilet, I want to say that skibbity toilet. That just is fun to say. Hi, my name is Skibbity. Trojan Coach is at 11:30, and we have Michael Maringo at 11:20. They're all picking Purdue. So really it's come down to this. If Connecticut wins, then GoPal 81 is going to take home the win. If Purdue wins, then we're going to have a tie between Preston and Skibbity. So good luck. Good luck to all involved. All right, back to the phones for a few minutes. 888-898-2525, the number. Ron in Greenville with us next. Ron, welcome to Sports Talk. How are you?
Guys, I'm fine. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. It's good to have you with us.
Can you imagine if they made a Caitlin Clark basketball, what that would do?
I'm sure they got them out there. I'm sure they've got all kind of commemorative stuff for her somewhere.
I'd like to have about 5. So if you talk to the guy tomorrow night, tell him to give you some information.
How about we get you a Gamecock commemorative basketball?
What? Oh. No, but I will say this. South Carolina, the University of South Carolina, is now the official school for women's basketball. South Carolina is now a women's basketball school. So congratulations.
Well, they have been strong in women's basketball for a long, long time. I think that they would like to be considered a well-balanced program. They've won national championships in other sports, and they like to think their football program is on the way up.
Yeah, I wish I'd watched it last night, but there was a fishing show on, and I didn't watch it because there's a fishing tournament down in Alabama.
Oh, no, you can't miss a fishing tournament. No, sir.
No. One final thing. That man that was behind Don Staley when what's her name was interviewing her, Holly Rowe, at the end of the game, was that Don Staley's husband?
I don't believe she's married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know there's just one man standing back there. I said, that's got to be her husband.
No, I don't think she's married. In fact, I know she's not married. I mean, not that I think. I know she's not married. Yeah. So I don't know who.
Well, I never.
May have been one of the male assistants on her staff.
Could have been. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Next year, women's basketball is going to take a big decrease in attendance.
Why you say that?
Caitlin Clark's not going to be there.
Yeah, but you got the returning stars at South Carolina. You got Juju Watkins. You got another load of freshmen coming in. I think there's stars waiting to be born out there in women's basketball.
people's not going to want to see them.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, across the nation. Now, listen, in South Carolina, they certainly will, and congratulations on that, and go see them. But you got people like in Utah, places like that, Nebraska, Texas. They're not going to want to go see South Carolina or any women's basketball program.
Well, we'll see. This will be a test of the strength of the game. We talk about growing the women's game. Not we, but they do. They talk about growing the women's game. Well, the growth of the game, it's got to be stronger than a single individual. And like golf, is golf surviving without Tiger Woods? It's got to be stronger than one. Be back in a moment.
She is the track too tough to take. The lady in black. She's got a thing for tradition, a hankering for history, and she sure likes a good challenge. Well, when Throwback Weekend comes to town, she'll get exactly what she wants and play extra hard to get.
These guys are going to have their hands full.
Shall we dance? The official Throwback Weekend of NASCAR, May 10th through the 12th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
George Bryant here for Tsunami Bar Sports, and some say the fun is in the winning. I say the fun is in the training. And Tsunami Robbie, what do you say?
George, we all know you get more done when you're having fun. This technology is different, it's engaging, but it's also a lot of fun to use.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any Tsunami Bar order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today. All right, celebration day today for the USC women at the Colonial Life Arena. Let's take a listen to what went on there at the arena. Brad Muller is the USC women's radio play-by-play man. He was the MC, and so we go to him and we roll from there.
South Carolina became just the 10th team and the 5th program to go undefeated and win the national championship. They passed every test, perfection. They won in Paris. They won in places like Durham and Chapel Hill. They won in places you may have never heard of, like Uncasville, Connecticut. They won in hostile environments like Baton Rouge. They ran the table in the SEC for the 2nd straight year. This was a team in every sense of the word. The bench was just as important as the starters all season long. They sacrificed personal accolades and attention to put the team first, but they all made a difference. And this is how it's supposed to be. This is what a team looks like. This team put the we ahead of the me, and look where they are. They're perfect. The university has a marketing campaign with the tagline, "Behold the remarkable we." Well, this team fits that pretty well. Behold this remarkable we. I said it last night and I'll say it again. Perfection wears garnet and black. And now it's my pleasure to introduce someone who knows a little bit about winning some championships, Athletics Director Ray Tanner.
Thank you, Brad. Welcome to Colonial Life Arena, home of the 2024 National Champions. Two out of the last 3 years, and if not for COVID, it would be another one. We all know that. I want to congratulate you and say thank you for all your passion, your enthusiasm, the energy that you bring to this building. We got a fantastic group of young women who play basketball, a great coaching staff, the head coach of all time, but they appreciate what you bring when you come in this building because it's a never, ever lose when you're here. So thank you very much for being a part of that. And I appreciate all of you who dried out from being in the Thomas Cooper Fountain last night. Thank you. That was a great picture. It is my honor to introduce 3 in a row National Coach of the Year, a national champion, 38-0, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, our head coach, Dawn Staley.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's an incredible honor to come back to this, to come back to you. We hope your watch parties were a success, let's say. It's so cool to come back to a place in which we've had so much success. Colonial Life Arena, and the way that you support our women's basketball team and men's basketball team, because it was pretty special up in this place. And we don't lose very many times in this place because of the environment that you all create. And the fact that our Presidents Emeritus, and our board members chose to close class for today means they take winning and success very, very seriously. We hope that this is an annual day off. But I just have to give it up to our players who made a commitment to each other. To probably do something that was totally different than any other team that I coached. They held each other accountable. They encouraged each other. What you saw them be able to do, like all of them, each and every one of them took their turn in making an impact on any given night for our team to be successful. And they did it in a way in which they lifted up each other. And that is truly, truly an organic chemistry that you couldn't pay real money to produce. I'll say this, sometimes we often don't know why. I thought the team that we fielded last year would have brought home a national championship. It didn't happen. Half of the players on this team felt that loss. and they vowed to bring it on home. And sometimes they had a little swag about it. Sometimes they had a confidence about them. Sometimes it was a little bit too much for us to take because we didn't know what was going to happen on the floor. And it happened last night when these players were talking and they used some choice words and we give them their space. We're in the coach's locker room and they're saying, we're going to do this to them, we're going to do that to them, we're going to do this to them, we're going to do that to them, right? Meanwhile, the coaches are in the locker room and we're like, either we're going to get blown out or we're going to blow them out. And I would say for the first 3 minutes of the game, we got blown out. But the 37 other minutes, this team would not be denied this year. I am incredibly proud of them for all they've given. They sacrificed and won every single game. And let me give a shout out to our highlighters. Step forward, fellas. Step forward. These are our practice players. And I gotta give them a huge shout out because they're the only team that beat us this year. Anyway, before I give the mic to someone else, I just want to shout out our staff, our coaches, our trainer, our performance coach, our everything, our media person, our ticketing, every single person that had an impact in the success of our team. And it's every year doesn't end this way, but it doesn't diminish the work that they put in for us to have a year like this. But it's always pretty special when you can end the year on a high note like we have and give credit where credit is due. And then lastly, only by the grace of God that this happens. So thank you very much.
All right, there you go. Comments from USC women's coach Dawn Staley. She was quite good with those comments. There seems to be some concern among some people that Tessa Johnson wasn't at the celebration today. I know nothing about it, but I've been getting messages and seeing some stuff on Twitter about her apparent absence. So I don't know. We'll see if we can find out. Be back after the break.
WXL Columbia W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. A Boeing 737 operated by Southwest Airlines lost an engine cover shortly after takeoff yesterday from Denver. Correspondent Julie Walker has the details.
Several passengers and flight attendants heard something loud hit the wing.
The pilot radioing the tower, that audio captured on liveatc.net.
Let's go ahead and declare an emergency for Southwest 3695, and we'd like an immediate return. We got a piece of the engine cowling hanging off, apparently.
No one was injured. The plane returned safely to the airport. The FAA is investigating. It's the second mishap for Southwest and the latest in a string of mechanical issues for Boeing planes over the last several months. I'm Julie Walker.
It's crunch time this week for House Speaker Mike Johnson as he decides if and how to funnel more aid to Ukraine. Bob Agnew reports.
Johnson has promised lawmakers will take up Ukraine aid first thing this week as they return from their Easter recess. The White House asking for some $92 billion in aid, the lion's share for Ukraine and money also for Israel and defense of U.S. interests in the Indo-Pacific. But some conservative Republicans, most notably Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, opposed tens of billions of dollars in new aid for Ukraine, while little has been done to secure the U.S. southern border. Bob Agnew reporting.
A New York appeals court judge has rejected former President Donald Trump's request to delay his April 15th hush money criminal trial while he fights to move the case out of Manhattan. The decision came Monday, a week before jury selection was set to start. Trump's lawyers had argued at an emergency hearing that the historic trial should be postponed while they seek a change of venue to move it out of heavily Democratic Manhattan. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 11 points, the Nasdaq rose 5, the S&P declined 2. More at townhall.com.
Relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
The contentious federal lawsuit between the huge Walt Disney Corporation and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis continues. We hear more from correspondent Haya Panjwani reporting.
As part of a settlement deal that Disney reached with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in state court, the theme park will put a 2-month pause on its federal suit. Disney's request last Friday to the federal appellate court was motivated by last month's settlement deal involving 2 Florida lawsuits between Disney and the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. After DeSantis took over the theme park's governing board, the company and the district began fighting in state court over how Disney World would develop in the future. Disney has since agreed to pause the federal lawsuit, which is being appealed. The district provides municipal services. It was controlled by Disney supporters for close to 50 years until DeSantis' appointees took it over last year. I'm Haya Panjwani.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clouds rolling in overnight. Our low dips to 55. Tomorrow, there's a 20% chance we get some stray showers. The high is 77. Same for Wednesday, while on Thursday, our rain chances climb dramatically to 80%. You can look for some thunderstorms. Things will clear out Friday, and we have a nice weekend planned for you. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Now you get this.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back with you. Sports Talk Media Network, hour number 2 on this Monday night. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, Josh Cohen, all together. Tomorrow night will be in Charlotte, South Carolina, North Carolina baseball. Also, Chris will be over at the Governor's Mansion for a NASCAR day at the Governor's Mansion. We're getting ready for the throwback weekend. Of course, yesterday they raced in Martinsville. And, you know, here's another one of those NASCAR coincidences. You got the 40th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports, and they got like all their employees are there. And of course, Martinsville, very big in the history of Hendrick Motorsports. They were about to shut down their race team 40 years ago or something like that when they sent a team there, and I think they ended up winning and they survived. And of course, the rest is history. And, you know, who took the first 3 finishing positions in the race? All Hendrick's cars. Now that's, you know,
But
not
it's not
totally
rigged at all, is it?
unusual, huh?
And it's not rigged at all.
Well, I'm just saying, this is another one of the NASCAR coincidences, like Dale Jr. winning for the first time. I think, didn't Dale Jr. win the first race at Daytona after Senior was killed? I think he.
Yeah, it was the July race.
Mm-hmm.
If memory serves, he won this the fall race, but it's actually the summer race down there.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a lot of those over the years that you can point to. So anyway, you'll be over there for that for NASCAR Day. They'll have Josh Berry there.
That is correct.
So you'll
There'll
get
be a bunch of
chance to
Joshes. You'll have Josh Harris, the president of Darlington Raceway, and Josh Berry will be over there to unveil his throwback paint scheme for next month's race. So looking forward to that. We'll hear from the governor as well.
Well,
I have to remember to wear pants. Excuse me, let me back up. Long pants. I will always remember to wear pants. But I wore shorts last year because it was about 90 degrees this time last year. And I felt so out of place, didn't realize, hey, you're at the governor's mansion. You need to actually dress appropriately. So even though it's an outdoor event, I will wear longer pants.
Yeah, good idea to wear your pants.
I always wear pants.
Ask the governor how he's feeling since, he had a little medical procedure recently. A couple of other notes to pass along, and then we will continue. This came out over the weekend. Greg Swaim, he's a guy who has a show and a pretty big following, 90,000 plus, and he wrote sources telling him Clemson and Florida State to the SEC and AAU accredited schools, North Carolina and Virginia, to the Big Ten. After this, the ACC becomes untenable as the media revenues after losing those schools will be similar to the Pac-12 after losing Southern Cal and UCLA. And let's see if there's anything else here that I can tell you. The story's not jumping to the more part. Let's see. Let me try this again. There we go. Of course, at this point, the remaining schools that have a Big 12 offer for twice what the ACC pays will likely take it. The four schools the Big 12 would want: Louisville, NC State, Virginia Tech, either Pitt or Georgia Tech. And the rest, he said, go ask Washington State and Oregon State. We've seen this movie before. So, this is the end of the ACC then by this report. If his sources are on the button, this will be the end of the ACC. Can you believe it? The end of the Pac-12 and the end of the ACC. Can you just believe that?
Had you mentioned that 5 years ago, I would have thought you had grown a second head. It would be so far out of the realm of possibility to believe. And now here we are. What I find fascinating, didn't you say that North Carolina is an AAU accredited university?
Yeah,
which is an organization of American research universities devoted to maintaining a strong system of academic research and education. So you tell me that Clemson and Florida State aren't, but a school that had maybe the greatest academic scandal ever in the NCAA is? Yeah, I'm not so sure I buy much of what the AAU is selling if North Carolina qualifies.
Yeah. Go figure. Winthrop's Kelton Talford will return for another season. A
Big deal
source
for the
told
Eagles.
Jeff Goodman, 14 points, about 6 rebounds per game. Pitching matchup tomorrow night for South Carolina, North Carolina, and Charlotte. Dylan Eskew for the Gamecocks, 2-2, 4.83. Freshman Folger Boaz, a lefty, 3-1, 5.89 for the Tar Heels. The rankings this week, you have Clemson is number 2 across the board. All the polls have Clemson at number 2, and South Carolina, the only place the Gamecocks are ranked is in Baseball America, and they're ranked number 25. And I'm trying to find my actual tweet that has all the polls in them. I'm going off of memory here. Coastal Carolina is in a variety of spots from 20 to 23 or so, somewhere in there. They're in the 20s. I'm trying to find my tweet, and I can't find my tweet. What happened to my tweet? It's embarrassing when you lose a tweet. You shouldn't lose a tweet, but I have for some reason. I guess the main thing there is Clemson still maintains its number 2 spot across the board in all the major polls. South Carolina can certainly help itself with a win tomorrow night against North Carolina. The RPI this week, Clemson is number 1 in the RPI. South Carolina's 19. Coastal is 22. Charleston is 70. Upstate 78. Wofford 85. Charleston Southern 151. Winthrop 185. Presbyterian 189. And I do not like what Twitter is doing when I click on certain things. Something is not right here. When I click on the show more, it takes me to the top of the page. Why is it doing that?
And I don't know, but Citadel is the other one under the show more, and they're at 252 this week.
What's the guy's name that owns X? Elon?
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Get him on line 2 for me, will
And
you?
I've got the baseball rankings composite if you'd like.
Yes, please.
I have found your tweet. It's D1 Baseball is Clemson 2, and Coastal is ranked 20th. Baseball America, Clemson number 2, Coastal 22nd. Gamecocks in that poll at number 25. And a perfect game, Gamecocks again not ranked in that poll. Clemson number 2, Coastal 22nd.
All right. And Perfect Game came out with a projection field of 64 the other day. Clemson, a number 2 national seed, hosting Coastal, Lamar, and Navy. Ooh. Boy, that will make Gilly just as excited as he could be if that happens. The Gamecocks, a number 11 national seed, and hosting NC State, St. John's, and Upstate. That's a projection from a Perfect Game. Speaking of baseball, 50 years ago today, this happened.
Sitting on 7-14. Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron. The fireworks are going. Henry Aaron is coming around third. His teammates are at home plate, and listen to this crowd. A sellout crowd is cheering Henry Aaron, the home run king of all time. 7-15.
Wow. I remember watching that game. Yeah, it was on the Braves TV network, which you could get from time to time. Back then, Al Downing was the pitcher for the Dodgers. Tom House caught the ball in the bullpen. And those two morons who ran onto the field, I mean, in today's world, they would have been machine gunned, I think, had they tried running onto the field, something like that. Boy, talk about lack security. They met him at like second base, didn't they?
I mean, it ran to third with him. And Phil, it's crazy because of all the death threats and different things that Hank Aaron was having to deal with, chasing down Babe Ruth. And you could not allow anybody to get on the field. It's remarkable that even occurred. And for him to be able to fight through all of that and to break Babe Ruth's, what I think a lot of folks believed at the time was an unbreakable record, was remarkable. Sad part is I'm not old enough to remember that. I was 3 at that time. I know Milo Hamilton as the longtime voice of the Houston Astros, not the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He went from Atlanta to Houston. That's where he finished up. And, of course, Vin Scully had a great call of that as well on the Dodgers network. But, yeah, that's the one that I remember is the one that Milo did.
That's the one everybody knows, yeah.
A couple of other things. The executive committee of the high school league meets tomorrow morning, and among the items on the agenda, state playoff format for football and other sports, and whether basketball should have one site or separate sites for upper and lower state finals and state finals. No vote will be taken tomorrow, but this is something they're going to be discussing. And Bet Online,
they actually might have the upper state finals in, I don't know, the upper states. That might be a novel concept by the high school league.
Would be a nice idea. And Bet Online has Scott Drew as even money to be the next coach at Kentucky. Nate Oates is 3-1. Richard Pitino is 7-1. Billy Donovan 9-1. Mark Pope is 10-1. Kelvin Sampson's 12-1. Jamie Dixon is 16-1. And there you go with the top ones there. We're going to run to the break. When we come back, Clemson football. Tigers had their spring game on Saturday, and Dabo Swinney met with the media afterward to give his thoughts about the spring, what he saw out there. He was happy with some things, and he knows there's some work to be done in some other areas. So we'll bring you the head coach of the Tigers after this break here on Sports Talk.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is here, and as you get ready to go out on the water this spring and summer, make sure you have all the required safety equipment on board. Check for a sound device. A horn or whistle will suffice for most boats. Inspect all of your life jackets. Make sure they're in good condition and are the correct size for all of your passengers. If your boat is over 16 feet, you will need to make sure you have an approved throwable device on board as well. Remember, boating safety is no accident.
Relax with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Here at Founders, we understand that it's more than just a vehicle. It's a part of your life's journey, from hobbies changing to families growing. It's with you along the way. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your life. Not sure what you want? Apply early for a pre-approved spending limit so you know what to look for before you start shopping. Head over to one of our 41 convenient office locations or visit foundersfcu.com to apply for an auto loan today. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know it's possible to avoid probate court after you die, regardless of what you own? Why put your loved ones through a long, stressful public process when there are better options for your family? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, spring game Saturday at Clemson. Orange and white spring game wrapping up their spring practice. Afterwards, Dabo Swinney got together with the media to recap things and take some questions about his team this spring. Dabo Swinney.
Again, so many people come out and give us the opportunity again to create a game feel when you split your team and you got guys getting a chance to start, and sometimes things that you've seen in practice that all of a sudden they get in the, a young guy like Wesco, for example, early on, he missed a block, he had a poor release, it's like, but then he kind of settled down. And I think, you need moments like this to prepare. Again, that's the reason why people have preseason games and scrimmages and things like that against other people. So it's a very meaningful day. Obviously, you're not going to take a whole lot schematically out of a spring game and things like that, but just from a personnel standpoint, to give a lot of guys opportunity, it'll help them grow, help them develop, and help us evaluate them a little bit further. So a good day. Got a chance to see a lot of guys, flash and make some plays, and it was fun. Obviously we had some guys. I think we held Brenny, held Maffa, held RJ, held Barrett. Those guys have played a lot of snaps. And we really want to evaluate the guys behind them a little bit more, or expose them a little bit to bring them along like we need. And then we obviously have some guys, injury-wise, that are different stages of their, return to play protocol. So, but all in all, a good spring. It'll be a great spring if we go do the work that we need to do this summer, because it all has to build. But all in all, you hate to see it come to an end, because this is the best part, being with the players every day and just the process of meetings and practice and review and all that stuff. So now we got a good 3 weeks of training coming up. This is a big 3 weeks for us from a strength and conditioning standpoint, and really setting the tone for the summer. As you all know, we get out of school early around here, so we got 15 days of class, 3 weeks, and then it's finals, and they're out of here for a little while before we really get back going with our skills and drills the latter part of May. And So a lot of work to do these next few weeks.
Coach, you lost the quarterback when Helms transferred out, and you've always talked about the moxie of Trent Pierman, of course, Danny Pierman's son, but you really showed that moxie today, didn't you?
Yeah, he's always shown it. Nobody just wants to believe you. But there's a reason. He's one of the reasons we didn't go take another quarterback, because we really believe in this kid. I mean, he's a 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, you don't get lucky and win back-to-back state championships, and you don't. This guy threw for a gajillion yards in high school, and you've got to have something to you. And a lot of things with him. He's a little undersized. Got a good arm, not an elite arm, but he plays with good timing, great timing, and he has a really good understanding. And just again, a lot of moxie, a lot of gamesmanship to his game that comes naturally to him. That he's been around it a long time, and just has complete ownership of what we do. Very familiar to him with some things that he did in high school as well. So I'm proud of him, and that's why we wanted to get him on both sides. We like our group. We really do. We like all three of our quarterbacks, and Paul Tyson has practiced all spring, and he stayed sharp, and he would be ready to play today if we needed him to be. We got another really good walk-on kid coming in, a preferred walk-on guy that'll give us a little more depth there too. But we like our guys. We like those three. That's kind of how we wanted to get through the spring, and knowing that we have Paul there as well. If you get to a fourth quarterback, it probably ain't very good anyway. It's probably bad. You probably got bigger problems, but to be able to have a guy like Paul Tyson sitting there is a bonus for us, because he's ready and he's coaching every day, and he's a part of putting it all together. We feel good about the position. A couple plays today that all of them would like to have a play or two back, but it's good to see, and good for Trent too, because nobody really knows much about him or talks about him, but he's been consistent like that in practice for the last year or so.
Where would you say your offense is coming out of the spring?
Incomplete, just incomplete. I mean, I think we're more confident is probably another word I would say. We're more confident than we were this time last year, but we're still incomplete. I thought we threw and caught pretty good today for the most part, but no Cole Turner. We didn't have Tyler Brown out there. We didn't have Salado, and we got T.J. Moore coming this summer. We didn't have Noble Johnson out there. So those are all guys. I mean, when we become a complete group, we got a chance to I think be really good, and they should. I mean, there's a lot of guys back. I mean, we lost Putnam, right, and we lost Shipley. So most everybody's back, for this offense. And year two in a system, we got a chance to be much more confident group, and our quarterback, taking another step is going to be a big part of that.
You feel like you saw another step from him today?
I saw another step from him all spring. It's a lot more than just today. I thought he did a good job today. Just put some good drives together, made some good decisions. Some that maybe didn't appear to be a good decision, maybe just a simple play, but it's a great decision as a coach when you're evaluating certain things, whether it's situationally some things that he did. So I'm proud of him. He's been really, really good all spring. He's been really good. So you're just getting better and better and better. I think you'll continue to see that progression from him, but still a lot of work to do.
Your five-star Peter Woods last year had a really big spring game. Today, Sammy comes out first play, sack, tied for the lead in tackles, 8 with Wood has.
He's a natural. He's still grasping everything. Just you got to remember, this kid played every snap almost both sides of the ball, and so now he's getting exposed to a lot more defensively, and we've kept him at one spot. All spring, really trying to just hone him in. I mean, he's got the speed and the talent to really play wherever, but we're just trying to really build a good foundation from him. So it's a good group. I know he's glad that he was able to come in early and get a lot of this learning curve, cut down a little bit, so now he can go attack the summer and fall camp, and hopefully by September he can be in a position to help us. But it starts with Woodaz and it starts with Barrett. Those are two really special players, and the good thing for Sammy is he's got them as a model of what it should look like. And then I'm really proud of Kobe. I think Kobe had a really good spring for us. He's just a good football player. You know, I mean, he's just a guy that lacks a few measurables, but he makes plays every day because he just really has good football IQ and understands things. He's tough. He can run. Jamal Anderson today, you know, he had an outstanding day, and that's what's fun about a game like this, because now he's going out and you got to go start, right, and play some big minutes, and man, it was awesome. That was an unbelievable play that he made, and then came back and made another one, but there was a penalty. So really happy for him. D. Creighton right out of the gate having a sack as well. So that whole group is coming together, and you know, we got more on the way. Drew Woodaz will be showing up in here, and Cooper Taylor's coming in here this summer. So I think it'll be a good little group. A lot of competitive guys that you know, have a lot to chance to compete and get on the field.
Hoffler and Lawson and Denhoff make some plays. I mean, how much better do you guys feel about defensive end?
Yeah, we feel, you know, we've made good progress. We got a lot of work to do still this summer, but, you know, Chris has done a great job with those guys. You know, Denhoff, he's just kind of, you know, he's our steady Eddie. He just, and he's just getting better, and the game has slowed down for him, and, you know, he's just relentless and tough, and he's just consistent, you know. And he's just a guy you know you can count on. Man, Jaheim's been coming. He's been on the rise. You know, he was a 200 and maybe, I don't know, he might have been 212 when he got to Clemson. And you just like, all right, well, let's just throw him over here for a year and we'll see if he'll work, and then we'll revisit. And that's kind of what we did. And then this past year, you know, you started to see a little bit. But, you know, just another year. So now he's going to be a redshirt sophomore. Now he's 245 pounds, and he's got some athleticism. He's gotten stronger, and he's a savvy kid, man. And you know, I'm proud of him. But it's important to him. He plays with a high motor. He's tough, very competitive kid, and it's good to see that. And you know, he's athletic. You know, here he covering the wheel route, you know, out of the backfield and going up and. You know, he played wide out. I've watched him his whole life. You know, this kid he and Clay the same. They've been together forever. And so, you know, he played receiver for a long time until they finally realized you need to get on down there and let's get serious about football. But he's got athleticism, really good basketball player. So he's got a good future. But, you know, the other guy was Hoffler today. Man, his get off. I mean, we needed to see that. And for him to be able to go out and start today and to have this kid's twitchy. He's a natural pass rusher, but he's big. You know, he's bigger than Jaheim. And that, you know, but now Jaheim's kind of closed the gap from a size standpoint to where he looks like the rest of the guys.
Okay, Dabo Sweeney, most of his comments from his postgame. Twitchy. That's what I consider you, Bergie. I consider you twitchy.
I am twitchy. And if Trent Pearman is as good as Dabo says, first off, how come we've never seen him? And secondly, is he now the backup to Cade Klubnik? Has he passed Vizina?
Yeah. I don't think so. Again,
I don't either.
I think we got a little spring game lightning there. Hit the break, be back. Jim Toman just a bit outside coming up.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clouds rolling in overnight. Our low dips to 55. Tomorrow, there's a 20% chance we get some stray showers. The high is 77. Same for Wednesday, while on Thursday, our rain chances climb dramatically to 80%. You could look for some thunderstorms. Things will clear out Friday, and we have a nice weekend planned for you. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting a chilly midday darkness fell across North America as a total solar eclipse raced across the continent. Monday's spectacle was witnessed by millions of spectators in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. It was North America's biggest eclipse crowd ever thanks to the densely populated path. Cloud cover spoiled the view in New York State, but in Texas and elsewhere, the skies cleared with minutes to spare as the moon passed in front of the sun and blocked the sunlight for a few minutes. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics has announced a policy that all but bans transgender athletes from women's sports. The NAIA is the governing body for mostly small colleges covering about 83,000 athletes across the country. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 11 points, the Nasdaq rose 5. More details at srnnews.com.
When you've got the gem of the Midlands, Lake Murray, at your disposal, who can blame you for wanting to hit that water now? Marine 360 has been your local home for the nicest crest and sea hunt boats since 2007. Brandon, Scott, and their team, well, they offer expertise, incredible customer service, and a tremendous selection of new and pre-owned boats. Crest is the industry standard. They've been building boats since 1956, the oldest and one of the most respected pontoon builders anywhere. Sea Hunt is built right here in Columbia, the #1 selling center console in its class for 19 straight years. Look, Marine 360 is on the lake. It's a great place when you need your boat service. They're authorized service experts for Yamaha, Mercury, and Suzuki. I know Brandon and Scott. These are good guys. They're local, and they'll be there from start to finish. They can get you into the best boat that fits your dreams and your budget. Take a look online, marine360sc.com, or better yet, give them a call, 749-2360. Go visit the showroom, see their awesome selection, hit the water for a demonstration. If you belong on the water, you belong in a Marine 360 boat.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With 7 locations in the Midlands, Groucho's Deli has been crafting award-winning culinary delights for over 80 years. Bite into the legendary STP Dipper or Apollo and let the unique flavors of My Wife's Salad dressed in our famous Formula 45 sauce enchant you. Don't just dream about it. Taste the #Groucho's goodness today. Whether you're looking for comfort at your doorstep or a cozy corner in our deli, we're always just a click or a step away. Groucho's Deli, your neighborhood deli. Taste the good at grouchos.com.
I was thinking about the things that matter to me when it comes to calling the plumber. First, most of us call the plumber out of a need, often a crisis. So you want reliability. Then, we're in a vulnerable place already, so you want someone you can trust, someone who will be fair in their pricing and handle things professionally. These are some of the reasons I feel comfortable recommending Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, they've been out to my home. They've been out to my brother's home, too. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning did such a great job. And you know, maybe this might not matter as much to some people, but they're locally owned. A lot of these plumbing companies you've heard of used to be local, and now they're owned by big national or even international conglomerates. Working with a locally owned company matters. It keeps your pricing down, and the money stays local here in the community. Josh and his team at Franklin makes customer service their top priority. I trust them. You can too, especially during these vulnerable times. Online, it's franklinplumbing.sc.com or call them 799-2222. That's 799-2222.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
I wonder what that's like when you try the corner and you miss. It's got to be depressing for a pitcher to try the corner and miss. We welcome in Jim Toman, just a bit outside. Former coach, current instructor, all-around good man with an eye on things happening in college baseball in South Carolina and elsewhere. Good evening, Coach. How are you? Did you survive the eclipse up there in North Carolina?
Yeah, I wore my shades today while I was fishing, and I didn't even look up. I was just focusing like a laser beam on the bass.
That's great. Are you still fishing?
Well, not right now. It's getting dark up here in Lake Waccamaw. We're doing a little hitting in the cages. Get ready for the game tomorrow. Big game tomorrow up here.
What you got?
And I'll be back at it tomorrow. A little Planet Fitness, working out, and definitely find a pond or two to fish.
Now, what kind of game? What kind of game do you have tomorrow?
Oh, I'm going to go East Columbus at Whiteville talking about two really good programs.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're playing at Whiteville, so that's a tough one. You know, they have all them good players come out of there, but I'm ready for the upset. I'm gonna be pulling for East Columbus. It's my guys.
All right, very good, very good. Well, what about this weekend? They had Clemson going up to Notre Dame, getting a tough sweep. They had South Carolina losing 2 out of 3 to Texas A&M. Gamecocks have lost 3 of their 4 SEC series to this point, but they're 6-6, so it hasn't been a disaster, but it's not where they want to be, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, each week it seems like the first team we need to talk about is Clemson because they're the team that they continue to roll. And it just seems like to me that someone new comes out every week, one of their players or one of their pitchers, and they make contributions. And I made a phone call today to one of their assistant coaches, and he said that the freshman Aiden, I think it's Knack. It could be Knock, Knaak.
Knack.
But he took a no-hitter into the 7th at Notre Dame. He ended up 7 innings, 1 earned run, gave up 3 hits. The key, though, was no walks and 9 Ks, and that's a freshman, throwing at Notre Dame, where it was probably a little chilly up there. But he was the co-ACC pitcher of the week, and he's done a nice job for them all year. But it just seems like they get, up and down the lineup, and the pitching staff and the closers and the setup guys, everyone's clicking right now. They're still number 1 in the RPI. D1 baseball has them number 2 in the country, right behind Arkansas, and they've been 1-2 for a couple weeks. So Clemson's 28-3, and they're 10-2 in the ACC. And I think their strength of schedule is number 7 in the country. They play a good non-conference schedule, and then the ACC schedule, and that's why their RPI is so good. But they swept the Irish and had another good weekend. And I noticed looking on these RPI reports that they have the most quadrant 1 wins, which is top 25 in the country. They have 10. So they're getting after it. They do play Georgia at home, a tough midweek game. Georgia's got a good program, good team this year. And then they go up to NC State. NC State had just lost 3 to Louisville. But NC State's a good squad, and they're trying to get in a regional as well. So, with these ACC and SEC teams, you're going to have hard weeks almost every weekend is going to be a tough one. And talking about South Carolina, their RPI went down from 8 to 19. Still in good shape for a regional here about halfway through, but we're only 3-5 on the road. The Gamecocks are 22-10. And even though they haven't won all them series, it seems like they figure out how to win on Sundays, which is a good thing. If you ever get to a super regional, and you're playing on a Sunday in a super regional, that means it's 1-1. So they're very good on Sundays. Now they got Becker throwing and put Gainey in. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch on Sundays. But they're only 5-5 in their last 10. They're hanging in there in the SEC at 6-6. So you know as well as I do, in that league, the RPI is usually good enough if you win 14 out of the 30. I assume they play 30, so 14 and 16 might get them in. But obviously they want to try to host. If they're going to host, they got to start winning some series. They lost that midweek game to Georgia Southern. That's probably why their RPI went down a little bit. Then they lost 2 or 3 to Texas A&M, and like we did say, that they did avoid the sweep on Sunday. But when you're at home, you want to win 2 out of 3. They play UNC Tar Heels. At Truist Field Thursday, the Pro Park there in Charlotte, 7 p.m. If you're in town, go up there to Charlotte, watch a really good game. They get a really good crowd for that, and UNC is really good as normal. And then they got to turn around real quick and get back down to play University of Florida. Now, UF is struggling, and it's very I'm going to ask you guys about this, and I'm sure that you're going to be able to tell me the answer maybe in about a week. D1 baseball knocked out this week. South Carolina fell out of the top 25. LSU fell out of the top 25. And Florida fell out of the top 25. Number one, when was the last time that South Carolina, LSU, and Florida fell out of the poll at the same time? Or number two, when was the last time all three of them weren't in the top 25, at least one of them? Because you're talking about three really good programs, and all three right now, as we sit here on national championship night, they're out of the top 25. I don't know when the last time that happened.
Good question.
And I don't have the answer, so
Yeah.
you guys are gonna have to figure it out yourself.
We'll
But anyway,
we'll get our crack research team working on that.
yeah, it'll take a while to figure it out. You got to go back and look at all the top 25 rankings. And I did it with D1 baseball, and there's about 4 other polls. But you just look at D1 baseball polls over the years. But I don't know if it's ever happened. It probably hasn't because LSU's always up there. Florida's always up there. South Carolina's usually at least in the top 15 or 20. But anyway, Florida, believe it or not, is only 17 and 14. And but they are 6-6 in the SEC. And these teams are good, but the league is good too. So if you're not completely healthy and you're not on your game and you're not playing well, you're not going to win in this league. So a team just like LSU, they're struggling. Florida's struggling. And South Carolina's still hanging in there. So it'll be another tough week for the Gamecocks coming up, but they're used to that. So hopefully we can get it going down there in Florida. Coastal Carolina's still hanging in there. Their RPI is 22. They only went 2-2 in the week, and they're similar to South Carolina, and they went 5-5 in their last 10. And they're tied for fourth in the Sun Belt. So they have some work to do. Now they're only 3-5 on the road. They got to pick that up. But Louisiana is 11-1 in the Sun Belt. Southern Miss is 8-4. They're number 2. Georgia Southern is also 8-4. So, you know, there's 3 teams ahead of Coastal in that league. But Coastal does have the best RPI in that conference because Coach Gilmore is a guru, like Phil Kornblut is at recruiting. Coach Gilmore at Coastal is a master at scheduling good RPI teams. And he knows who to schedule and what the key to getting a good RPI is. And so here they are 4th in the Sun Belt, but they've got the highest. Got a 22 RPI, and so who knows if that's going to be a 1, 2, 3, or 4 even bid league. But Louisiana's RPI, they're 11-1. It's only 50, and they have no quad 1 wins. So, I don't know how many teams in that league are going to get a bid. You never can tell till the end, but that'll be an interesting thing to watch going forward. Rest of the teams in the South Carolina area, College of Charleston, they beat UNC Wilmington 2 out of 3, and they beat Georgia Southern during the week. They had a 3-1 week, so their RPI is up to 70. They're 20-10, 6-3 in the CAA. And then Wofford, their RPI went up a little bit to 84. They're 21-9. They're 6-3 in the Southern. I think they're behind Samford. Samford is 6-0 in the Southern. UC Upstate, they went up to 78 in the RPI. They're 10-2, so they're first in the Big South. But it'll be tough to get for anyone in that league now that Coastal isn't there and Campbell isn't there and Liberty isn't there. It'll be tough to get a large bid. So you might have to win that tournament there. The RPIs in that league aren't great. I mean, Upstate is first in the league and they're 78, and they're 0-8 quad 1. So if the season were to end today, they wouldn't be in the tournament unless they win the tournament. They wouldn't be in the NCAAs unless they win the Big South tournament. So PC is second in the Big South. Sounds good, 7-2. They're 16-16 overall, but if they get in, they'll have to win the tournament again. Their RPI is a little low at 189. Winthrop is 184 RPI, and they're only 4-5 in the Big South. They're 12-17, and they have a tie. That ain't no good. That's like kissing your sister, right? Probably a late night game, and the lights went out or something, or they didn't have lights. But anyway, the Citadel is in a little bit of a losing streak. They've lost 7 in a row, and they're 0-9 in the Southern Conference. They're 15-15, but their RPI is down, well into the 200s. And Charleston Southern is 14-18. They are 6-3 in the Big South, but their RPI is 151. I told you last week, if I've got about 3 minutes, I want to explain to the people about this RPI because a lot of people don't know how it works.
You got exactly 3 minutes, and he pronounces his name.
I can do it, Dave.
He pronounces his name Canuck. It's Canuck.
Canuck?
Canuck up
All
at
right,
Clemson.
well, Canuck took a no-hitter in the 7th, and he was the co-ACC pitcher of the week.
Okay.
Aiden Canuck.
Canuck.
Wow. Good job. Okay, I got 3 minutes. How many teams are in Division I? Do you know?
Baseball, I believe they're 350.
No, 305.
I didn't miss it by much.
You had the numbers right, but you had the O and the 5 backwards.
That's
so
right.
We'll give you partial credit for that.
Yeah.
But first right now is Clemson, and you'll never get who is last right now in 305. You hate to talk about a 305 team, but Maryland Eastern Shore is 0-25. So they're currently the last place team in the RPI. However, 3 stats used to calculate the RPI, and, Coach Gilmore tried to teach me this, but I could never quite figure it out because I wasn't very good in math. But the first thing they look at is your win percentage, your record. Okay, so if you're 25-5, that's good. That's 25% of the formula. The second thing is the opponent's record or winning percentage, same thing, and that's 50%. So if you're playing Clemson right now and you beat them a couple times, your RPI is going way up. But if you play Maryland Eastern Shore and lose, it's going way down because your opponent's winning percentage is 50% of your RPI. So you got to play teams with really good records, okay, and that's 50% of your RPI. And it goes the rest of the year. So if you beat Clemson 3 games early in the year and they ended up second in the RPI, your RPI is going to be pretty good. And then the third one is kind of crazy. It's the opponent's win percentage. I don't know who figured that out, but that's 25% more. So you got 25, 50, 70, 75, and then opponent's is 25% more. So the key that Coach Gilmore told me is that you got to play top 50, top 75, at worst top 100 RPI teams, because just a few losses to a 200 RPI team will drop your RPI like 20 or 30 points. So basically, play teams with good records, win games. And here's a little known fact. When you win at home, you only get a 0.7. But if you win on the road, you get 1.3 points. So a road win is worth more than a home win. So you should play some games on the road and win them, and you get more points. Same thing with a loss. If you lose at home, it's minus 1.3. But if you lose on the road, you're only losing 0.7. So there is a little bit of a formula to it. The key is to play some games on the road, play good competition, and you have to win when you play that good competition.
It's like Coastal's going to play
really bad teams.
Coastal's going to play at Wake Forest tomorrow.
That helps them. That's why Gary is the best. That's why he's a Hall of Fame coach. That's why he has a lot of large bids, and he usually wins the tournament anyway. But their RPI is always good because he's figured it out. He's smarter than he looks.
Nah,
put it that way.
He'd never admit to that, but you're exactly right. You're exactly right. All right, any final thoughts, because we need to wrap?
Yeah, real quick. Got to have a shout out. South Carolina women undefeated season national champ. I kind of like watching that girl from Iowa play, to tell you the truth. She looks like she's going to be an NBA stud. Or I guess it's WNBA stud.
Mm-hmm.
But Clemson, you got to shout out to them. Number 1 RPI, number 2 ranking. Them guys are rolling. Clemson junior Sam Antonacci, number 1 in the Sun Belt in hard hit percentage. How about that? They're keeping stats about how hard you hit the ball, and he's like a 95 plus. He was also the D2 JUCO National Player of the Year in last year. In junior college, he hit 515 and from Heartland Community College in Illinois. Great recruiting by Coastal to get a kid out of Illinois and come in there, and he's leading Coastal right now with a 405 average. And they got 3 or 4 other hitters that are pretty darn good, too. Going back to before the NCAA basketball tournament started, Storm Toman, who's talking to you here, my 2 picks were Connecticut men and the South Carolina women. Right now, the South Carolina women have cut down the nets, and because I picked Connecticut, I would assume they'll win again, and they will cut down the nets tonight, and I'll be 2 for 2. I don't win no money out of that, but maybe I should have put a bet on that.
You probably should have. You'd be rolling.
Yeah, I'm not a gambler.
You'd be rolling in the dough. We need to roll. We got to do our recruiting report, and we'll talk to you next Monday, see how things look a week from now.
Absolutely. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Jim
Okay,
Toman,
bye-bye.
just a bit outside here on Sports Talk.
I look back 50 years, and LSU, of course, is the team that skews this. I can't find a season where Florida, South Carolina, and LSU would all be out of the poll at the same time. Now, all I can base that on is their end of season record and rankings. But I mean, you can go back 50 years with those 3 teams and not find all 3 having a miserable season at the same time. It's just nearly impossible.
Okay.
It really is.
Let's go to the recruiting report here on Sports Talk. It is brought to you by Seawells, planning that special event, be it a wedding reception or a birthday party or a corporate outing, an awards banquet, something this spring, this summer, maybe in the fall you're thinking about. Well, think no longer, because only think about Seawells. They will take great care of you. Their family and their staff can handle all your planning and the catering needs at their facility, 1125 Rosewood Drive, or they'll come to your venue. Their website is SeawellsCateringSC.com, and their phone number is 803-771-7385. And, of course, the daily luncheon buffet every day, Monday through Friday, from 11 till 2 at their Rosewood Drive location. All right. So last night, Anthony Addison told us, he's the defensive end out of Sumter, he said, check my Twitter on Friday, indicating something's up. This is coming off a visit to South Carolina Saturday, and he's planning to go back to South Carolina this coming Saturday for another practice. He's been to South Carolina several times before. He really likes Shane Beamer. He really likes South Carolina. He told us South Carolina's number 1 with him. So if his plan is to commit on Friday, certainly looks like it will be South Carolina. And he has really hit it off with Sterling Lucas as well. Enjoys talking to him and hearing what he has to say. He has also taken spring visits to Florida State and Georgia. He is scheduled for an official to Duke June 7th. He has USC scheduled for an official June 21st. But again, Friday at some point, Anthony Addison of Sumter will have some kind of news. If it's a commitment, it'll be to South Carolina. The commitment timeline for quarterback Ryan Montgomery of Findlay, Ohio, changed again. Took an unofficial to Florida over the weekend. He told Steve Wiltfong of On 3 he'll make an unofficial to South Carolina for the spring game weekend, then make his decision. It looks like Georgia's out of the picture with him. Looks like it's Gamecocks and Gators. He had planned to take officials to all 3 in June and then decide. Now he'll only take an official to the school to which he commits. Reading his comments coming off this Florida visit, certainly looks like Florida is in a very strong position. Now, I know South Carolina has been in a strong position with him as well. Maybe South Carolina can undo some things and improve its positioning with the visit for the spring game. One thing stands out, though, that both he and his father have said. He wants to be in a place where he can compete for a national championship, for conference and national championship. I'm afraid, whether it's true or not, I'm afraid that the the Florida brand and legacy, would trump the South Carolina brand and legacy when you're thinking about that, if that's an important thing. USC Clemson made top 12 with offensive tackle Michael Carroll, Doylestown, PA. Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Wisconsin, Georgia, Penn State, Rutgers, Texas, Michigan, UCLA on the list. He was at South Carolina January and Clemson in March. Clemson USC target offensive tackle David Sanders of Charlotte was at Tennessee Saturday, plans to return for their spring game this Saturday. Receiver Michael Skinner of Riverside, he's at Cincinnati today. Heathwood Hall corner Onis Conanbanny set an official to Utah for this coming weekend. Offensive tackle Cortez Smith of Lilburn, Georgia, was at USC Saturday. He was at Georgia Tech in Georgia earlier in the week. He's got officials with USC, Miami, Florida State, and Georgia. Defensive tackle Caleb Williams, Chesterfield, Virginia, was at USC Saturday. Also scheduled for their spring game and an official on May 31st. USC target safety Jonte Gilbert was at Auburn and Louisville last week. He plans to visit USC soon, no longer involved with Clemson. He has officials with UCF May 31st and USC on June the 7th. Defensive tackle Kevin Wynn of Greensboro, Georgia, 6'2", 320, has an official with USC June 7th. He was in for a practice last week. He's also visited UAB and Tennessee. He also has officials with Georgia May 31st and Florida State June 21st. Offensive tackle Josh Petty, Roswell, Georgia, firmed up more officials. He was already down with Clemson May 31st. He now has Auburn June 7th, Oregon June 14th, Stanford June 21st. Clemson target cornerback Mark Manfred was offered by Missouri. Clemson target receiver Dylan Alfred is at Ole Miss today. He was at Clemson for the spring game. Clemson target offensive tackle Hardy Watts of Boston was at Syracuse over the weekend. One-time Clemson commitment offensive tackle Jalen Beckley committed to Oklahoma State. Blythewood defensive tackle Sterling Sanders was at Coastal Carolina Saturday. Irmo quarterback A.J. Brand offered by Wofford. 26th offensive tackle Desmond Green of Timberland was at Florida State Saturday. 26th offensive tackle Stephen Pickard of Phillips Simmons was at Clemson for the spring game. 27 defensive back Joshua Dobson, Catawba Ridge, was offered by Duke. 27 quarterback Mason Holtzclaw of Piedmont was offered by Virginia Tech. And I think that is it for recruiting. Brought to you by Seawells. Tomorrow night, we'll hear from Shane Beamer as he talks with the media tomorrow, as he does on Tuesday. And you, sir, will be in Columbia in the big city, the capital city, over at the governor's mansion.
I'm looking forward to coming over and sitting in the studio with Josh tomorrow night while you're up in Charlotte.
Make sure the governor's dog doesn't bite you or anything like that. When he comes sniffing around, he's got one of those, I think it's a bulldog, one of those pug-nosed bulldogs.
I'm still looking forward to the first ever tour inside the governor's mansion.
Just ask him.
Either.
It's your house. See you tomorrow.
It's true.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.